Hi everyone, my name is Amy with Eating Healthy, Spending Less, and in today's video, I'm excited to share with you all about my garden, what I'm growing this season. It is the beginning of September. The summer garden is done, it's gone, and I am already planting for the fall and winter. I want to show you what I'm growing, how I'm growing it, and my garden beds. Also, how we eat of our backyard all year long. So I hope that you will join me in today's video. I definitely want to talk to you guys about the cost of a backyard garden. It is not cheap to start out. There's a lot of upfront costs like building your garden beds or purchasing garden beds, filling your garden beds with dirt and compost and garden soil or whatever you fill it with. There is an upfront cost. Then there's also an upkeep cost. If you are making your own compost, then it's not going to cost you anything, but for us, we're not doing that right now. So we are purchasing compost to put in the garden beds, but it's worth it to us because the produce that we grow right here in our own backyard tastes far better than any other produce you would ever purchase. The summer garden was a huge success, mostly. So the front two garden beds that my husband built, I have a video all about how he built these beautiful raised garden beds. I'll put a link for you in the iCards. Absolutely beautiful. Well, those two garden beds did not do very well this summer. I was really unhappy with them, and it's my fault. It's because I didn't nurture the soil like I should have to make it the best that it could be. I just planted, and my plants really suffered this summer in those two garden beds. We did get a lot of zucchini, a lot of cucumbers. I was able to grow our own honey nut squash, which is like a mini version of a butternut squash, which was very delicious. They grew really tiny, but that's okay. So I knew going into this fall season, I can't ever do that again, where I don't nurture the soil. The soil is everything. But I thought that it was okay for this season, and I was wrong. So we went to a local nursery. It's called Gardener Supply if you live in Bakersfield. And we bought lots of their compost. And it was a great deal. I believe it was buy 2 bags, get 1 free. And we were able to really hydrate, nurture, just put in all of those great bacterias and nutrients into the soil. So I have high hopes for my fall garden, but we'll see. There's no guarantees, so we'll see how it goes. We also redid our sprinkler system. That was another problem, is part of the garden beds were being watered really well, other parts weren't. I couldn't just put carrot seeds anywhere because it was on a drip system, and it just didn't work. So my husband lined the garden beds with the sprinkler system and put sprayers on. So every inch of the garden bed is getting water. So during the growing season, if I see that I can add carrot seeds or beets to the garden beds, you better believe I'm going to. Another thing is, in those front two garden beds, I am only growing vegetables that I could direct sow seeds to the ground. So I'm not having to start any seeds indoors. I purchased this garden journal from Target. It's $10 and I love it. It's so awesome. It's the Simplified Garden Journal for Growing, Tending, and Harvesting. Now, I do not plan on buying a new garden journal every year. This is something that I want to keep year after year with information of what grew successfully here, and did we like it? Is it something that we want to grow again? Here's the diagram that I drew. In the spring, I'll draw it again over here and decide what I'm planting for these garden beds. So I have sugar snap peas. on this side and this side, just along the edge where the trellis is. It's so pretty. These grow so beautifully in the winter with the pretty white flowers. I'm also trying out cow peas, which is like black-eyed peas, along the trellis on the back side. I have dinosaur kale, the whole row here. I'm so excited for that. Romaine lettuce, Vivian lettuce, spinach, and fennel. I love fennel. And then on this side, I have collard greens, blue kale, red cabbage, cauliflower, rainbow chard, and pak choi, which is like bok choy. Now, I drew these little dots to figure out how I wanted to space them in the garden. I also drew with a little shovel this little grid system so I knew exactly where to plant, and it worked beautifully. I absolutely loved doing this method. The next thing that I wanted to share with you is our orchard garden beds. Now, we call it the orchard because there are some well-established fruit trees at the very back of our backyard, and they're kind of elevated where you have to go up a few steps to get to it, and we just love it. And so we put 3 beautiful Vigo garden beds back there, and I couldn't be happier. They're beautiful. Now, you can get some garden beds very similar to the ones that we have for cheaper on Amazon, and I might actually purchase some of those in the future when I want to add more garden beds to our backyard. So in that middle garden bed, we had 2 tomato plants and a bunch of jalapenos, and I will never do that again because the tomato plants just overtook all of the jalapenos, and it was really hard to get a good harvest from those plants this summer. I know some people, when they have raised garden beds, they'll use a whole garden bed for just one thing, all potatoes or all carrots or all tomatoes or whatever. But I like to vary it up. I think it's better for the soil. I think it's just better for the plants as well when you have a community of plants growing together, and they really did thrive. But the tomato plants just overtook the eggplants and the peppers. So I'm going to have to reconfigure how I do that for next summer. But we had a bountiful tomato harvest of Roma tomatoes and a bountiful harvest of peppers and eggplant. We really ate on those all summer long with really no issues at all. So for that center garden bed where the jalapenos were, we are going to now grow all of our carrots and beets for the winter. And these are crops that you continually plant all season long, because as you're pulling carrots, you're planting more seeds, so you can pull more carrots, plant more seeds. Same with beets. Again, those are seeds that you sow directly into the ground. There's no having to start them indoors. Now, in the outer 2 square-shaped garden beds, we're doing something a little different. I am going to be planting 4 different varieties of plants in those garden beds, and I'm going to turn the camera around and show you exactly what we're planting. I have never used one of these before, but I saw a man with one at the Home Depot checkout stand, and I said, "Where did you get that?" So he pointed to me where he got it, and I had to go get 2. So I think they're pretty awesome. These are the seeds that I have to start indoors before I can plant them, that I know of. At least it's recommended on the back of the package. Celery, kohlrabi. I've never grown this before. I'm excited to try it. 2 different varieties of cabbage. All of these can be grown in zone 9B where I live. And then Sun King broccoli. So that's what we're growing in these. And everything else I was able to sow outside already in the dirt. I mixed that vitamin packet, half of it, with a half a gallon of water, warm water. And now I'm just going to do what it says. Add 1 to 1.5 inches of warm water to each pellet. Okay, so it says that each pellet will be about 1 to 1.5 inch in thickness this way, and it is. actually worked really well. So this whole tray is going to be kohlrabi on this side, celery on this side. This last year at Lowe's, I would go to Lowe's once a week and look through the clearance section for clearance fruit trees. And it was so successful for me. I was able to purchase 4 apple trees on clearance, 2 pear trees on clearance, another peach tree, and 2 apricots, all on clearance. So I am always looking for those. Typically they cost about $40 a piece for a good sized mature tree, and I was able to get all of them between $15 and $20 each. So these are first year apple trees, maybe second year, I don't know, but in our backyard they are first year, and we have gotten apples off of these trees. Now they have like no flavor, but it's fun to taste your own homegrown apple. I'm so excited to see the apples that we get for next year. Another fun little project that we did this year is berries. We have a little berry patch on the side of our house, and it's got 2 thornless blackberry bushes, 2 raspberries, and 2 golden raspberries. Now, I don't really know what's going on with this. I haven't been tending to it at all. I am going to be adding some compost to those garden beds to just add lots of nutrients and to just give it a boost of growth. And then we have a special little garden bed up near our patio, and we call it the tea garden. Now, my daughter had picked this funky looking bush. I later found out it's some sort of a fern, and it completely died. I think it had too much sun, and it has just been so hot here, over 100 degrees most days, and it just didn't do well. Actually purchased a new green pot to match the ones on the side of our house, and I'm going to plant chamomile in that garden bed. I've already purchased the chamomile seeds. So chamomile will be the new addition to our tea garden. We use our mint and lemon balm all the time to make tea. I always add it to whatever tea I've made for the kids that week. And it's just such a fun little addition to the backyard. Lastly, on the side of the house, we have 2 herb gardens. The basil is going crazy. It is so happy. We also have this delicious lemon thyme. It just smells so much like lemon. It's wonderful. But right now they're just really flourishing, and I'm hoping I can get a couple more months out of them. So that is the garden update at the guest household in our city backyard. That's right, you don't have to live on a homestead out in the country to have a big, beautiful garden. You can have a garden of any size that your backyard will allow right here in the city. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, would you please give it a big thumbs up? I hope it encouraged you to have a backyard garden. It really is the best produce you will ever taste. I love making all of you YouTube videos about handcrafted recipes using fresh ingredients in everyday living. And don't forget, this girl is on a budget. I will see you all in my next video, friends. Bye-bye.